Okay. And
Wait, you want some more? Wait, you want some more? Okay.
hey, ladies.
Hey.
On today. Yay! Mm.
Hey.
We popping that cherry tonight.
Come on. Girl, I don't even know about a cherry. What you talking about?
Mine's been gone
Girl,
a while.
I'm trying to figure out did I even lose one? Let's never mind.
Well, let me introduce myself. I am Brenda. I am a licensed social worker. Here debuting our new podcast with my girl. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
So I am Jessica Kizzy. I am a certified life coach of Living Well with Jess, and I am here with Miss Brenda. While she pop her cherry, I'm just here for the support, honey. I got you,
we got
sis.
to get it. Yeah.
How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good. Hold on, we got Miss Mika on.
Come on in. Where's she
Hey,
at?
Miss Mika, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
We're doing all right. Just see here.
Good.
Introduce yourself to the audience.
Oh, y'all already introduced yourselves?
While we're sipping
come
up
on
here,
yeah, we over here sipping.
Oh, okay. So I'm Mika Nicole. I am a licensed professional counselor and sex educator. Excited to be here.
Hey, girl.
We need our expert because I'm an expert in different ways.
Yeah, for sure. Right.
Well, I'm excited.
We are excited. I think everybody's excited. I am so happy that you all decided to do this journey with me. I'm learning on the way, like I said in our group chat, and hope that this becomes, a great podcast that people can't wait to listen to and talk about. One of those kitchen table kind of things, and hopefully, we be on the up and up. So, to start everything off, we had our first topic of the day was when were you introduced to sex?
Go ahead, Mika Nicole.
Oh, I was introduced to sex at a very young age because my mom had me young. She was 13. So, and her mom had her young. So the going thing was they did not want me to end up pregnant. So we always talked about sex. We were always open about it. And then I decided to take it upon myself to learn even more. So I would read Cosmo. I would do research on different sex positions, different ways for women to receive pleasure. And I did that throughout my teen years just so I could be knowledgeable about STDs. I put myself on birth control at 15 to make sure that if I do engage in sex, I'm not getting pregnant. And then I also will take a regular STD test once I started having sex. And I always kept condoms with me. So that was me. So I was young, maybe
responsible.
about 6, 7 years old when we first stared talking about it.
You sound very responsible.
Yeah.
Okay, Brenda.
Matter of fact, that was one of the topics in the group chat. In the group was, what is one of the things that you ask for before you engage in sex with the person? And you brought up that the STDs and stuff like that, making sure everybody got that together. I had somebody said they do the STD panel. They want to know everything.
Well, you should
I'm,
want to know everything. And
I'm
what a lot of people don't realize is that, of course, AIDS, an HIV test and HSV, which is herpes simplex virus, those aren't standard tests on a
mm,
panel. So you have to actually ask your doctor for those tests to be done.
whew. well, well, your story sounds a lot
Definitely not like mine.
not like mine, not at all. Not at
Ooh,
all.
child.
You want to go, Jessica? How was you introduced?
Um, so it's weird. I think, well, my first sexual experience was a rape, actually.
Ooh.
And so then I found myself very sexually fluid at a young age. I remember being 8 or 9 pleasuring myself. Like it was so I my story was totally different. I kind of really didn't learn about sex. I knew I wanted to be pleasured. I knew I wanted to be pleased. Didn't really know how to do any of it. It just was kind of it happened and happened. I don't think I actually learned about sex until I probably was an adult, 24, 25 ish, when I realized that, hey, I'm just out here just doing whatever, you know. And so it wasn't until after I had my children that I really decided that I wanted to know how my body operated and what I wanted pleasure to look like, because sex had kind of just become I had sex on my own terms. So it was very intentional. I did it when I wanted to do it. It was always on my terms. And so it wasn't until I was about 24, 25 when I actually um, wanted to dive deeper into sex and not just doing it for the sake of saying I got a vagina and I know how to have sex.
Mm,
Unfortunately, many women, their first introduction to sex is through child molestation.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And so I'm sorry you went through that.
Thank you. I
I know it had
appreciate
to
it.
be hard. And it does lead to a lot of sexual promiscuity, because something has been awakened that you like you say, you didn't really understand, but that your body craved it.
Right.
And a lot of shame comes with that. And a lot of people, the shame turns into either the like dealing with it with drug use, multiple sex partners, or some other kind of way to mask that shame that they
And
feel.
it's
And it's like you have to
funny.
remember that it's not your fault. Your body's gonna do what it's gonna do regardless.
Exactly. So
Mm-hmm.
and that's probably the weird thing for me, because I never felt like it was my fault. Like I never carried that aspect of it, but I never talked about it either. It wasn't until I was probably 21 before I even told anybody, or 22 before I even spoke it out loud, that I had been molested. But it wasn't a normal conversation. So I didn't know. I didn't know that. I didn't know, and it's funny how you don't really know something until you know it. And even now, it's never been I felt a certain type of way, or I've had guilt or anything like that, but I do realize that it has played a part on my life, just my everyday life, and how I respond. Like my kids couldn't go anywhere. I'm very protective and like hovering, almost. It's weird. And my kids are grown, but I'm still like, where you at? What you doing? Who you with? What's their mama name? Like bam, 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 bam. My baby's 19, but it just came out in different areas. But I'm in a good place mentally. I can say that.
That's good.
And so now sex to me is something that I want to do, and I find a different type of pleasure in it now. It's not just something that I just wanted to do. It's something that I do because I deserve to be sexy and to feel the
Girl,
sexiness of
do it.
intimacy. So,
Well, some people still trying to figure that one
well, yeah, we'll talk about that too.
Well, mine was kind of similar to yours. I had the same experience. A lot of let's say under the rug stuff. You know how us black folks do. But I never felt like it was, my fault. Like it was something that I did. But I will say it did awaken in, a beast, especially at a very early age, because I started masturbating way early before I even knew what it was. And what surprised me is I didn't know that I should have kept going until something was supposed to happen at the end. So that was never taught to me. I didn't know that keep going until but so that was my I I guess introduction to it. But I would say my introduction to it, something that I was able to control, was I think everybody probably went through this and heard their parents.
Did you
Yeah,
say you heard your parents?
I heard my parents.
Oh, okay. I
And,
didn't ever
and I
go through that.
accidentally,
Oh, yes, I did. I went through that as an adult. I heard because after I graduated college.
Girl, I walked in on my mom and dad. It
I
was,
did that too.
oh,
And that was
I knock on every door today because no, no.
So I was like,
Take my eyes.
yeah, you would think that would turn you away because don't nobody want to know or hear that. But yeah, and that kind of led to looking at porn early. We had like every channel on cable, so like we had HBO and all that, and I remember what was it, like Sex on the Street or something, where they tell their whole
Oh
sex
yeah.
thing. And then I remember it was some stupid porno that I used to look at. It was like a white porno or whatever, so they had the dialogue and a whole storyline. And yeah, so I used to sit there and watch that. And then sometimes I would like, masturbate to it or whatever. But yeah, that was, and I still look at porn.
Me too. It's okay.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. You got the right to do
Me
what you
too.
want to with your body and your eyes. You got
Yeah.
your own autonomy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. As long as Pornhub keeps it free.
I know that's right because I'm not paying for it. I might have to keep scrolling a couple of videos to get to the one I want, but I'm not paying.
Or just keep making my own like I usually do.
Or that, because that works.
So with all of that being said, does anybody wish they would have waited a little bit longer? Because we were just talking about, Venus Williams is 41 and still a virgin.
No, I don't wish I would have waited. I feel like I had sex when I felt like having sex. I was 16 and it was what it was. And I was well educated on what I was doing, in my opinion, from what I taught myself, the things that I was reading and understanding about sex. So I didn't feel bad about it, and I still don't feel bad about it. And that person that I had sex with, he taught me a whole lot.
Ooh.
Things I still use today.
Okay.
So
what is that?
What we doing?
I know. I mean, this ain't tea, but you
don't need to know.
In the sense of, do I regret having sex early? No. But just being 40 now, I realize that I probably, I feel like I would have wanted to wait to be with somebody who really wanted to be with me. I think that's really what it is. Like back then, sex was just sex, and I could kind of detach myself from it. So it was whatever it was. But kind of just having that whole idea, like I think it's beautiful that Venus is waiting for her husband, the one that she wants to spend the rest of her life with. Not a fairy tale, but and not to say that the marriage is even gonna last, but that she's making the conscious decision that she's going to save herself for the person she feels is worthy of her. And I admire that. In that aspect, yes. Kind of like Mika. The person I was with the first time taught me, girl, I was well versed in the sexual department. But yeah, but other than just the sanctity of my body, and yeah, I really wish that I would have saved that for the person who deserved it.
Well, the thing is, too, I think that we have all been taught, especially women, that we're supposed to wait for somebody to, like you just said, to who deserves it. But hell, what do you deserve? It's your body. You do what you want to with your body. And I think a lot of the times we put too much emphasis on women having to wait and be this delicate
Out.
flower and all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah,
But it's like, well, I don't feel like you have to wait if you don't want to wait. And it's okay. Not to say that you're wrong for, saying that you would have
yeah,
waited. It's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying I think that we get so caught up in sometimes people get so caught up in, well, I'm just going to give it to somebody who deserves it. But it's like, well, what do you deserve? It's your body too.
and you know what?
You
That's
deserve pleasure too. And it's okay to want pleasure and want somebody to treat you sexually.
Yes.
yeah. I think for me, especially on this life coaching journey, when I started the journey of becoming one, I realized a lot of stuff about myself. And it has never been based, for me personally, it has never been really based on anybody else. I grew up in the Black church, and everybody tell you, they don't tell you, they just tell you you're going to hell if you don't have sex. They don't really tell you about being in love and those things. And so throughout this process myself, I just realized that, I, as sexual as I am, I could have done better towards myself personally. I didn't
I can get
necessarily
that.
have,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I didn't necessarily have to go through all of the things. And don't get me wrong, I had fun doing it. Now, it just wasn't important to me
I agree with you.
at the time.
Some sexual things I could have left off my table.
Right. Some
When I was
people.
in my younger years, I could have,
Yes. I,
experienced that later in life, or just not experience those things at all. But
I,
you never know until you do it.
I
and
know
that's
I'm
true. And
probably
so that's the
I
second
know
part.
there's a lot of things that I probably haven't experienced all at, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to say like a late bloomer or whatever, but I didn't lose mine until I was like 18. And that was me just
That's wonderful.
rebellion, because I was at my parents' house.
Well,
And
that was
they
important.
had
I
a
was
they had a
17.
tight leash on me. I couldn't do nothing if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Girl,
and
Well,
I,
most kids, even though they say that they have sex early, most people have sex. And it has been plenty of surveys out there. Most people are having sex starting around 17 to 18. Even though
I'm
they'll lie and
so
see you
happy
all
because
day. They
my
ain't
son
had no
is
sex.
17, and I
Hmm.
don't. I said because my son is 17, and I
Yeah.
don't know if I could.
That's usually the starting age for most
Ooh,
teenagers.
ooh,
16 to 18. Most it's usually the starting age.
Lord,
I'm just
Even though they lie and say they've had sex earlier because they in high school and they want everybody
of
to think so.
course.
I did
Mhm.
that. I lied about mine, and yeah, I
So
did.
I
I
didn't like
I did.
I didn't talk about it. I think it was just when I think about high school, and I mean, some of my friends was having sex, but I played and I fondled, and I just wouldn't. You was not sticking nothing in me. Like I was absolutely nervous about the idea. What are you doing? No, I might have touched it or petted or something, but you
I
wasn't
didn't even do
sticking.
that. My mama scared me to death. My mama told me whenever I was ready to come talk to her, and we would have this whole mother and daughter moment
Yeah.
about sex. So when I finally did come to her, she brought me in my room, closed the door, sat down. I got comfy and everything, and I'm like, "Oh, this is it. We get ready to have this talk."
Yes.
And she gonna sit there and tell me it's gonna hurt. Got up and left, and that was our sex talk.
Wow.
And I think we do our, I think we do our children a disservice when
We
we
do.
try to avoid the conversation. I start,
Absolutely.
it's age appropriate conversation. Like my daughter is 3, but she knows all of her body parts. She knows the
Mm-hmm.
correct terminology. And that's where we actually should start, is teaching our
Yep.
kids the correct terminology on what their body parts are, so that it's less likely that something deviant will happen to them, because now they feel empowered to say something. They say, like, don't touch my vulva, you know and then the person, they're gonna look at them like, what the hell, like, what is she talking about,
I
You
don't
got
even know
some
what a
women
vulva
now that
is.
don't know what the vulva
a lot of people don't know what a vulva is, right? But you hear that word, you're gonna be caught off guard, like,
is. Yeah,
vulva, this little girl too smart, you know what
that's
I'm
a
saying?
grown woman term.
That's a grown, yeah, she know her
Right.
parts, and so she may be like most likely to say something if I do something to hurt her, you know what I'm saying? So it's like teaching them the right body parts, and then if something actually happens to that child, they can correctly explain what happened. You got kids out here saying, telling their teachers, well, I don't want to share my cookies. And they're like, well, why you want to share your cookies?
Mm-hmm.
It's nice
Yeah,
to share
that's
your
true.
cookies. And now these little, they thinking, well, I guess I'm supposed to share my cookie because your mama done taught you it's called cookie instead of vulva and vagina,
Yeah.
teaching you correct body parts. So you have to have, of course, those age appropriate conversations, starting with the body parts between the ages of like 3 and 5, because normally most sexual assaults start at 3 for
Mm-hmm.
most kids, if it does happen, between 3 and 8. So teach them the right names of their body parts. Also, as they get older, just continuing to step them up. Now you know your body parts. Now you know you're going to have a cycle. This is what happens when you have a cycle. When talking about penises, the differences between a girl body and a boy's body, why that difference exists. It's just important to have these conversations, and really be honest with your children, as opposed to trying to shy away from it, which is why I do a lot of the work that I do. Because I'm like, if the more we talk about it, the
Mm-hmm.
less likely we have to fear, or worry about something crazy happening to our kids.
And you know what? And it's funny, especially I feel like the women past the from like 89 on back, there is a stigma as it relates to what sex is supposed to look like and how you're supposed to have it
Mm-hmm.
and when you're supposed to have it and who you're supposed to have it with. It's
It.
almost like everybody else is in control of what we do with our body, to go back to what you were saying, Mika
Mm-hmm.
Nicole, because
Mm-hmm.
we have never, it's always you gonna have sex and you gonna get a disease and you gonna die or you gonna
Yep.
burn in hell because Jesus
Get.
is gonna be mad at you. It's never. And so then when it's time for you to be woman and be married, and now here you are unpacking all of this baggage
And
Mm-hmm.
you're
with
so
your husband,
unprepared.
and right
Mm-hmm. And
at
you still up there
35.
saying cookies.
And it's true. Like, you're so right. It's like
Mm-hmm.
we're taught so much that it's about everybody else.
Yep.
We're never taught that sex is about ourselves. We're never taught about what it feels like. Yes, it's gonna hurt, but you know what, baby? It's gonna feel real good too.
Oh,
It
she
may
sure
be a
left
little
that part
addictive. Just,
out.
it's gonna be a lot that comes with it other than just pain.
Oh
We already
yes,
know it doesn't hurt forever.
yeah, she left
It
that part
hurts a little
That
bit.
is
And people who may have some, vaginal issues, it may hurt a lot more, but you feel that initial pain and then it goes away. But also, then if you're gonna say it's gonna feel like pain, well, then what can we do about the pain? You use a little bit more lube.
that's
If
it.
it's still painful after that, you may want to go
That
and talk
definitely
to the
wasn't coming
doctor.
out my mama mouth. Lube.
What you talking about? You know, it's
No.
so funny because it's great because I know my mama wouldn't have never had that
Mm-mm,
conversation with me
mm-mm.
20 years ago. But now that I'm 40 and she's 60 plus, we can have these adult like conversations. I and
Really?
I Girl, yeah.
I still don't say nothing
But
like
you know
that
what?
to
I
my
make my
mom.
mama uncomfortable though. Sometimes, like it's not. I have to catch her off guard. I'll throw something in there every now and again just to see what she gonna say because, I mean, she's since remarried and she's in this new relationship, and I'll be like, "What y'all doing? What you got? What you got? What kind of lingerie you got? You got it?" My mama had. She told me she had a vibrator. I said, "Wait, you got a who?" So now for her birthday, she don't know it. I'm finna go buy her a rose. She don't know it
Oh,
yet.
I've been wanting to get that.
Yeah.
I
I
heard some
heard
things
not to.
about them
I heard
roses.
not to get it because it sucked everything up there.
Oh,
Now
I
they
don't
do
know.
Yeah.
have
She
one.
may not need that then.
They have one with the tongue, so that might be a little bit better. But yeah, I heard the rose. It don't give you no type of foreplay.
Oh, I have not purchased it, so maybe I need to purchase it first, and then
Yeah, you
see
may
if
want
it's
to
gonna
test
be
drive that out, girl,
Yeah,
before you get
yeah.
it
test
to
it
And
first.
mom.
come
Yeah,
back
don't
into
give your mama a
Okay, so we can
whole
talk about.
details. Oh, and I did, and I don't know if this was a joke or not, but I seen on Facebook that they have a new one called the Hammer, and it looks just like a hammer,
Yes, I saw it. Well, if I saw it, and it looks just
just like
like
a hammer.
a
No, who is doing this to
hammer.
me?
Like, what are you doing? Right? Like, I'm not. I'm not.
Now I know I like mine's beat up, but not like
Like, what are
not
we
with
doing?
no
Like,
hammer.
no, I'm not doing that. I'm not.
No, yeah, I said okay, so I went okay, all right, so that must they need to go ahead and take that off the market.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
somebody might like it. It's just not gonna work for my vulva. Okay, it's not gonna work for mine.
look at we using the toes.
Yes,
Well, and then and y'all understand the vulva is just the whole.
the whole
Mhm,
It's the
yes,
whole. Okay, good.
yes,
It's
yes,
the whole piece of
mhm.
your. It's the whole area.
the whole
And then the
area.
vagina
And I
is
would
the
tell you,
actual,
yeah,
canal.
if you don't understand that, if you use honey pots, uh, stuff, they'll definitely teach you where to put everything at because they got vulva cream, vagina cream. They got a lot of stuff.
Interesting.
I love honey pot.
I
My
like them
daughter
too.
was telling me
They're
about that.
very vagina, vulva focused.
Yes. And
Take
their
care of
panty
your
liners,
health.
ooh, they put a lot of seasoning on their panty liners, but it feel good. They
Not
got a lot
season.
of
They sprinkling.
no, they have essential oils. They do theirs with essential oils, like all
I'm
the
gonna
other
have to
panty
try
liners.
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it feels so like you can tell the difference because that with the essential oils on it, you get kind of like this cooling sensation, unlike the other panty liners that are just cotton.
Hmm.
Yeah, you don't feel anything, but yeah, honey pot. I think that is by a black
It
company,
is.
It is.
and they really look after the especially the black female. Yes, they got everything for
Now I got
everyday
to go buy
use.
the whole line.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yep.
research it first. See if it's
My
something you want to buy, girl.
Well, my
Mm-hmm.
daughters, both of them have been talking about it, and they have
Oh,
been
okay.
telling me, yeah. So my daughters, these Gen X Z kids, they Google everything. I don't have to Google anything. I'll put the kids on the job, and they gonna tell me, "Mom,
Good.
it's a 3 out of 5."
Yeah. Well, see, I'm a boy mom, so I don't have. Yeah, I'm the only queen here.
Oh yeah, it's 3 girls and 1 boy in my house, and so he's definitely outnumbered.
I mean, unless you count the dogs, but yeah, it's only me.
So, I don't know if y'all saw mentioning saving yourself and all of those things, that Megan Good and her husband are divorcing.
Yes, yes, yes. It's been the talk of the internet
And
for
how long they
almost a
been
month
married?
now.
9 years, I believe.
Yeah,
They were
it's been 9 years that they've
eight
been
or
married.
9 years.
Mm.
Yeah, because
And
he
so,
was saying how much he still loved her. And that they kept talking. It was so weird when they first announced it. They was
it
like, well,
was.
they're going on for their next chapter in their life, and it doesn't mean they pardon and all this other kind of stuff. And I was like, Lord. And then he put she's the love of his life. And I'm like, well, Chad, why y'all divorcing in hell?
Because that's what I be wondering. If y'all that in love, why we not figuring out what's what or what needs to
Did they have
change?
any kids?
No.
No.
I think that's the reason that they divorced, because I don't think Megan Good wants children.
Oh,
And I don't know how successful she's been in having kids either.
Well, we don't know
Or
if
if
she's
she's
even
tried.
tried, because
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's part of the contention that she does not want kids.
But he knew that before they got married.
Maybe he didn't.
There ain't no way. As long as they sat there waiting, because they had all time to talk, they wasn't having sex.
Well, you just never know what people talk about.
And
in
I
a
might have said I
relationship.
wanted to have a kid, and then,
Because
2
people
or 3 years
change.
in.
We
Yeah.
change and we grow. She could have wanted children one minute. She could have not wanted kids the next minute. Or, maybe he was in it too and say he didn't want kids. And then later on, he's like, well, I do want kids. Like, we don't know what happened in these people relationship. That was just something I heard.
Yeah. So, and
I
that
don't know if
has
it's
really
true or
been the
not.
biggest that's what everybody was saying, though, that she didn't want children. And that's and okay, so Kamiko saying he knew Megan isn't trying to mess that body up. And you know
Well,
what?
she loved her body now.
Who said
Kamiko, she said she ain't
that?
trying to mess that body up. And you know what? Because kids take you
But
through.
they're surrogates. So
Yeah,
if she
and so
if there was other ways for her to have they have a baby, they could have adopted.
They may not.
If
She still
that's
just may
something.
not want
Well,
to.
maybe she just didn't want to have kids. Maybe she wanted
Yeah.
dogs and fish
and you
and
look, I got
cats.
kids and I love my children, but what I do know is I could have been okay without them. Okay. Life would have.
I probably would have been the biggest hoe.
Oh Lord, how I get back to that?
Because if I didn't have no kids to stop me and ground me to coming home and taking care of responsibilities, man,
Hey.
whew, yeah.
Well, I mean,
was
if you like it, I love it.
Well, I would say I did become one after me and my ex-husband separated.
Well, I don't necessarily call it being a hoe. I just call it exercising your right to sexual freedom. So
Now,
you
yes,
was
that's what
exercising your right to sexual freedom. Ain't nothing wrong with that, as long as you was protecting yourself.
I said I was being grown. That's
being
what I
grown.
called it. I was being
Yes.
grown because I
As
did
you
mine
should.
backwards because I got married when I was 19. So I ain't have a chance to go sow my wild oats like they tell dudes. I didn't get to do that, so I just did mine backwards.
It's
And that's the
okay.
story. that I'm
And now
sticking to.
then you knew exactly what you was doing. It sounds like that's a little bit better anyway. I don't know.
Yes, because that first experience, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I ain't make no sound. I ain't move. He had to tell me.
Ooh, child.
He told
I
me,
can
you
only
can make a
imagine.
sound. You can move. I didn't do any of that.
No.
Oh,
I
wow.
was so stiff.
I'm not
Well,
laughing at
it's
you.
a very intimidating experience your first time, so it's not uncommon.
Well, he was 5 years older than me. So he was a
And
grown
even
man.
more so, that's
Yes.
intimidating even more so. So
Yes.
Yeah.
But,
It is okay.
But so do you think they should have waited? Would you have done the same thing?
Waited to
waited
what?
before made it for because they didn't have sex until they got married, right?
They could do what they want to do if they felt like
But
they
no,
wanted to wait. It's a decision that they made. It doesn't sound like it had anything to do with their sex life while they divorced, though. So.
Oh, no. She's just saying in general.
Oh,
Would
in
you wait?
general. I
Would you-
don't know if they felt. I feel like that's again. I believe in body autonomy. You make your choices on what you want to do with your body. If y'all decide that y'all want to wait, that's up to y'all. Y'all wait. That's y'all personal relationship.
Yeah, but
I don't feel like
asking
you should
you,
be forced.
would you have waited right there?
I don't know. Depending on. That's what I said. It's that's gonna depend on the relationship. You know what I mean?
Well,
I didn't wait.
Put a big no.
I've never waited, obviously. So
I didn't even, I got a test drive.
I don't know
before I fully commit. Because if the
I
sex is sorry,
I think I could. See,
I'm
me,
gonna be
I'm the type
cheating.
of person, I feel like I could wait and still have a great sex life. Like I don't feel like I need to test drive it.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't wait just because I just don't want to wait. But if it was a situation and the person was like, I would love to wait before we have sex, I'll be okay with waiting. I
And I
would.
think,
I don't
especially, I
have a
don't
problem
think,
with it.
I'm sure neither one of them were virgins anyway. Let's just be
Oh
honest. So
no,
it's not
no,
like they
certainly
had
not. But
not
just
had sex before.
Yeah.
I just
But
know I know me.
so being a
And
so now if my wife had said before we got married, hey, let's wait, I would have waited. I mean, because I know what to expect. Now I don't know that I would have. Now being Venus, I don't know if I would have waited. Being a virgin, especially now 41, and you ain't never had, like, that would
ooh, them
intimidate me more to
cobwebs are
probably not
thick.
even want to get married. Because I'm
Ooh,
like,
them
Yeah, it's hard. I've
cobwebs.
actually had a lady in her 30s who was a virgin, and she was very, very worried about, what people would think of her once she meet the guy, what any guy would think of her once she meet him that she really want to be with. She felt, very intimidated when it came to conversations about sex with when other people would talk about it, and she felt like she just wasn't woman enough. And I feel like we put too, again, that goes back to people not feeling like they have autonomy to be over their own body to make their own choices. And if you choose not to have sex, that should be okay too. If you choose to go
Mm-hmm.
out there and be grown, then that's okay too. We need to be okay with we need to be okay with other people's choices
yeah.
and not make that
Well,
part of our business and sit out here and judge and talk about them and make them feel bad about it. If that's what they want to do, let them do it. That's their body. They have
I
a
think
right.
that
I
it,
agree.
it kind of comes with age. As you mature, you become more in tune with your body, what you want, and stuff like that. I think when you're younger, you're going on off of what other people think. What does society say? Okay, well, everybody else around me is having sex. I guess I need to go ahead and have sex too because that's what society says, or that's what my group of friends they sitting up there talking about it. And I ain't got nothing to sit up here and talk about. I feel like a 40-year-old virgin. But I think my son's generation, I guess that's whatever generation is behind millennials, because I'm a millennial, they don't care. They don't care if they have it. They talk about it. They don't it
Yeah, it is
ain't
different.
nowhere
Yeah.
near, and I love it. I
Me
wish
Hmm.
that was
too,
the same
man.
for us. If sex felt like it was some type of rite of passage going into, okay, so all right, let's see, your period come on, now I'm a woman. The next thing to do is, oh, we need to start, seeing about sex and stuff like that. And so like when they used to talk about they get birth control was like a stamp of something, like, oh, so that means you can have sex and stuff. Oh yeah, you got the birth control, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Eh, yeah,
Or you being
it was
fast because
complicated.
you want to be
Yeah,
on birth
Again,
control.
going back to
yeah,
people trying to dictate what you can and can't do with your body.
Yeah.
It's
but
very sad we focus our energy on what everyone else is doing, whether
mhm.
they having sex or not having sex. I admire a person that could wait. This world is
Me
full of
too.
temptation. You turn a commercial, you have a damn stick of gum trying to be sexy on a commercial or a perfume bottle. Sex is so we're surrounded by sex. So a person that
Mhm.
says, that they can wait, and if she is truly a virgin, she's 41 being a virgin, she's waited all this time. Like, to
Yeah,
me,
but
that's
she has
amazing.
not. It's
That is
easier because
amazing.
she has
It
nothing to
is.
compare it to.
It's
Well, it's
Now,
beautiful.
not about comparing
I
it.
mean,
I'm talking
she
about
had the feeling and all of that.
I'm not
So
even talking about that. I'm saying the fact that she could wait even through the temptations.
Yeah.
It's so much peer pressure out here, whether you hearing it
mhm.
directly or covertly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where it's just out there to pressure you to have sex. And if you don't have sex, something wrong with you. Why you ain't having sex? You
That's
41.
how it was
You know what I'm
when I
saying?
was growing
So
up. That's exactly how it
And
was. You
honestly,
ain't
that
doing
probably would have been my response 15 years ago. Like, oh, why is you 30 and 25?
Mhm.
But
Yep.
today at 40, I'm like, girl, for real?
Look, I just hope
Like,
mine don't. I just hope he waits a long time.
Well, you
That's
just
all.
equip him with healthy sexual conversations so that he
Yeah,
knows, you know
I
what I'm
try to be
saying,
open.
how to
I
take
just,
care of himself and how
yeah,
to take care of a woman. Let him, making sure you're talking about STDs and pregnancies and hearing no and understanding the word no. That type of stuff. Just empower him so that if he does make that choice, he's making a healthy choice from it.
and that's
You
all
know
I
what
tell
I'm
him.
saying?
I don't tell him to.
A
Yeah,
thoughtful
I don't
choice.
tell
and it's
him to
so
wait
hard
till marriage. I don't tell him do any of that. I said you will know when the
when it's
time is
time.
right for you.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
really hard,
That
especially
all
now
I yeah.
because
All I tell you is
everything everything could just be
yeah.
misconstrued today. So
But
it's
I
really
tell you,
hard.
I love this generation coming up because that ain't nowhere near on their mind. Nowhere near on their mind. They
Yeah.
so
Got all this stuff
involved in
going
other
on.
stuff
Yep.
and these video games and YouTube and all this and everything. Like no, they not. I'm happy
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot
that's
of
now.
true.
people back in the day didn't have anything else to do, especially if you were from a small town. It was like, okay, you have
Mhm.
sex. You go by the big tree or whatever, your little secret, the
Oh
secret
no! Did
teenage
she say the
hangout
big
spot
tree?
is
Hmm. But that's what it was. That's exactly what it was.
Oh, and you knew
but yeah,
who your
now it's
staff
like
was in school too. You knew who
and
they was.
you know what though, what I noticed, and I know we're about to wrap up soon, but what I have noticed is that the younger generation has a different type of pressure on them.
Yeah.
Their pressure is very political. It's all
Mhm.
about they're going to be the generation that get us, that stops
Yep.
racism, that stop discrimination. They're going to be the generation that, more black folks going to be, millionaires and all this other kind of stuff. They have so much political pressure on them. So you see a lot of social activism in these younger
Mhm.
kids. And those are the things they're focused on. And then, of course, all these VR world, virtual world is so different.
Yeah.
They can escape reality and they can have sex in their little VR glasses now and life be fine for them.
Oh Lord, I
Exactly.
got to worry about that now.
Well, girl, it don't be real sex. It's just in
It's
the
just,
VR world.
but you
I,
see it,
you know
yeah.
what? You know what? That's just like I don't know if y'all watched Black Mirror, but that was one of the episodes
I
on
haven't
Black
seen
Mirror.
that.
What
Hmm.
was what's his name? Anthony Mackie
Yep.
and whoever, and they had yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Oh
And
yeah, I
they
have
was
not
having
seen that. So
sex. You have to watch that episode because they was I ain't
Yeah,
gonna tell you what
it
happened. I ain't
was a
gonna
lot.
spoil it, but it was a good one.
I'm
It was a
probably
good
not gonna
episode.
watch it to be honest. I'm gonna let you
Well,
watch
You
it.
somebody in
should.
this
It's a
audience
good
may.
episode. It's a good episode.
Okay, what
I
Black
ain't gonna
Mirror?
spoil it.
Black Mirror is good
Where is
anyway,
that
but
on? What is
it
Netflix.
Netflix.
it? So
But
it's a
that
series?
yes, but
Okay.
that episode was really a good episode. It really was a good episode.
It was. It
Hmm.
was. Well,
Very
this has been
interesting.
good conversation, y'all.
Hmm. Yeah, we
Very
should do
good
this
conversation.
a lot more often. We popped that cherry today.
So
Oh
how you
Lord.
feel, Miss Host? You popped the chair. How you feel
I
about it?
feel good. I feel good. I mean, I'm still learning, like I said, and I'm a forever student. I don't have no problem with that. I know there's some things that could be tweaked, could be added. Just look at the comments, see whatever what people have to say. But I think all in all, it was good. Um, I think keep it interesting, keep it current.
Mhm.
Um, people will find good content if they like you. They'll say it with their eyes that
Right.
we got up there on the screen. So I'm not worried about it. I think we did good. I think everybody enjoyed it. We're gonna bring it um harder next time. So yeah, I think everything was fine.
All
Okay,
right.
well, good.
And plus, I'm a
I
little
enjoyed
tipsy.
myself. Now you're not gonna be talking about you tipsy off that wine cooler. We're not doing that.
Yes,
I
girl.
told you,
Because
I
wine
told you,
Kool-Aid
I
ain't no
don't,
alcohol.
drink.
You better leave that Kool-Aid alone.
I don't drink like that, so my
That
tolerance
bougie,
is like
that's a
my
bougie
tolerance is
Kool-Aid.
like I'm
Right,
good.
because
I
that's
be
what
a
this
bougie
is.
Kool-Aid
I'm drinking
drink,
this.
man.
I ain't,
Bougie Kool-Aid.
I
That
didn't
and
want
that damn Arbor Mist. People love them some
Uh,
damn Arbor Mist. I'm like,
girl,
if y'all
wait
don't
a
get that
minute. Now that wild
Kool-Aid,
chick,
I,
that wild berry arbor
I'm
mist
not,
be hidden.
girl,
I'm
that
not really a
5%
wine
of alcohol.
drinker. I do vodka. I'm a vodka girl. But yeah, my tolerance is like this. So yeah, I'm good. I like that. I mean,
Well,
I
you
ain't got to
stick
spend a
with that.
lot
And
on
if your
liquor.
tolerance very low, don't go up
Yeah,
higher.
don't
I
go in.
drink
Right.
I
Stick
Oh
with
drink.
what you
no,
know.
I'm not.
I
I'm
do
not.
13% or higher.
Oh, this is what is this?
Two
Oh, girl, it
percent.
ain't. That's
Oh,
1.9% over
four
there.
and
It
a
ain't.
half.
You know,
Did you say
some wasted
13?
girl.
Girl, she looking at the label.
It's 4.5%.
Ah, shit, they
think
generous because
I
I
think
thought
they
it
got
was
more
2.
NyQuil than they do in there.
No.
Oh Lord, I loved it. I loved it. I love
I
you,
do.
ladies, for hanging out with me.
Thank you for having us.
We are
No, thank
going
you for
to.
even including me to be a part of this. I'm
We are
honored.
going to. Man, we are going to party. I can't wait to see what we got in store for the future. I just hope everybody enjoyed it. If y'all have any topics that y'all want us to discuss in our own way, just hit us
Yes.
up. Hit
Yes.
us up in the group, in the Untamed group. I have weekly discussions, weekly topics, and we're just gonna bring it out to life. That's what we're gonna do.
All righty.
With some 4.5% alcohol.
Okay, we're gonna do better next week. We're gonna have
Yeah.
some liquor
Some,
next
some
week.
real. No, you could just be real wine.
She said real. She said that sounded real judgy, Mika Nicole.
It was.
You said I thought
It
this was no
was.
judgment zone.
Right. Now that sounded judgy.
It was judgy. I would judge on the alcohol. Now I ain't gonna
Y'all
judge
go-
on your sex life.
y'all
I'm
gonna
judging that damn
leave me
wine.
alone with my alcohol.
It's okay, honey.
Until
Whatever you
next
like.
Enjoy your wine cooler, girl.
Until next time, everybody. Thank you
Until
for
next time.
tuning in to Untamed. Thank you.
Good night.